Hello, everyone. This is Sandra and Tommy, and we come to you for our first episode of Wine Down the Week. And for today, we have our friends Wine from Bottle Riot, Lori and Barrett Nichols. For those of you that do not know, Tommy and I we're actually supposed to be on a plane right now out of Charlotte and headed toward Slovenia. And so this is a Slovenian wine north of Ljubljana. And Bottle Riot has this on their website now. We picked up some wines there yesterday. So thank you so much. We encourage you all to do that. And guess if we cannot be in Slovenia right now, then at least we get to drink some Slovenian wine.
Absolutely.
So Tommy and I decided, with all of this time at home, and we're very fortunate to be able to work from home. So we've been super busy, but we're spending a lot of time on walks in our neighborhood and just unwinding from our day. And for those of you that don't know what we do counsel and work with small businesses throughout our week. And so there's a lot of uncertainties that are happening and a lot of information that's circulating as well. And so we thought it would be good to wind down the week and just highlight a little bit about what our days have been and what conversations we've been having. And not in a formal setting at all, just to lay back and chill out, and then
Drink some good wine.
Drink some good wine. So Tommy, do you want to kind of start off about how your week has been and what you'd like to share with everyone?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's no doubt that this week and the previous week since COVID-19 has started has been a major challenge, but there's been a lot of positivity in it too. I think one of the things that strikes me from this week that I thought was really awesome is my friend Kay that has Asheville Rooftop Bar Tours. She's unable to do tours right now, so she is utilizing her van to deliver meals out into the community. So that's, just one of the many highlights. Got to work on a webinar this week that was a lot of fun. And then my colleagues are working on webinars. The one this Thursday that Amy Jackson did was focused around, mindfulness and mental health at home and self-care during this time, as well as, taking care of your employees, looking out for them. It was a great seminar. But yeah, the main thing has just been, just reaching out to everybody and just checking in, making sure they're okay, and if there's anything I can do to help them. I'm trying to just connect everybody to resources right now. There's certainly, a lot of that outpouring without a doubt, especially with One Buncombe, the One Buncombe Fund.
For those of you that don't know, we're in Asheville, North Carolina, and so Buncombe County is the county in which Asheville sits. And so Tommy works with the Asheville Chamber of Commerce, and they have partnered with, the Buncombe County and the city, and I believe Mountain BizWorks, a CDFI here in our area, and anybody else that I'm forgetting?
Several other partners. I mean, it's really just an amazing effort of so many contributors that are contributing to this fund that is able to be loans to small businesses as well as grants to individuals.
And that's what I think is really cool about the One Buncombe, is that when I first saw One Buncombe Fund come out, I thought it was a bridge loan for small businesses, which is fantastic, and we need that. But what also is a part of One Buncombe is for individuals that are displaced from work. So I thought that was a great added benefit for the One Buncombe, and something that there's not really anything else out there right now in our county that's supporting that, besides obviously our state with unemployment. And I just think it's fabulous that you all are doing that, and it's been these bridge loans are something very needed for businesses right now. And there's been all this, in small business, there's been all these conversations about the CARES Act that came out in the end of March. And a part of that was an addition to these emergency, or I keep saying emergency because it feels that way, but this economic injury disaster loans, we're calling them the EIDL loans, EIDL. And these loans are from the SBA, and they've added an advance to that. So it's an up to $10,000 advance for these loans for businesses. They came out with some new information update yesterday that with these advance, they're looking at $1,000 per employee going towards employees that you have had starting before September of 2019. And so that was some new information about this advance, because there's been a lot of conversations about, well, what is a part of this advance, and how do you declare how much money it's going to be? How do they decide? And so that came out yesterday, that they are looking at the number of employees and giving $1,000 towards employee. Now, to keep in mind, these advance loans are forgivable. So these are forgivable loans, which I believe is like a grant, which I believe is a piece of One Buncombe as well. So you've got some bridge loans out there. And I'm correct that Mountain Bizwork is the fiscal agent of that. And then there is these the bridge loans into these economic injury disaster loans. And then there's also forgivable grants, and that's what this up to $10,000 is with these EIDLs with the SBA as well. And so those are starting to there's questions about that, because people have been applying for several weeks now. And on the website, I believe it says 7 weeks you would get your funds, but it's taking more like 3 weeks. And so there are beginning to get disbursements today and starting next week. One other update on that is that if you have applied, we just got this information yesterday, and so if you applied for this economic injury disaster loan and your application number starts with the number 2, then you need to reapply. So go on, check your application, see what the number starts with, and if it's a number 2, go back on the SBA.gov website and reapply for that. But another thing that's important to talk about is strategy for your business. So not necessarily are these loans the best way to go for you. Maybe not. So
and that's what we talked about today or Tuesday on our webinar is having Ursula York of who's a consultant here in the area, and then Ken Kaplan, who has Kaplan CFO Solutions. Talking about...
I was on a webinar with him today. Yeah, it was really great. He does an incredible job. Platinum Group also was a webinar today that Ken Kaplan was on. But I believe you all started that off earlier in the week with Ken and Ursula talking about strategies for business.
Sure.
Correct?
Yeah, and really just, there's so much going on, and, just kind of taking present tense for the business and, assessing the situation, of course, trying to make the most of it, and then looking at future tense, and one of the things that both Ursula and Ken said that was kind of struck a chord with me is, really looking at, doing a worst case scenario, middle case, and then best case scenario for, when you're looking at planning and for the future.
Right, and my organization that I work with, we do a lot of those with scenarios, because that's exactly what we're working with clients on. So it was so great to hear and to share a space with Ken and listen to your webinar that was earlier this week and talking about that, because it's so true. We see this money out there, and I'm an entrepreneur myself. I don't have a business right now, but I understand the urgency and the heartache I'm sure that you're going through right now, but it is important to run these scenarios and find out what really is your best option for you and your business right now. I mean, check with your county and with your city. There's a lot going on in that environment for bridge loans and for opportunities to help small businesses. And then we also have the federal grants that with the PPPs that are through your bank. And so you do want to check with your bank about those. And then there's these economic injury disaster loans. And there's another one that's it's a relief, an SBA relief fund that is pretty interesting that we're going to hear some more about. But it's about current and prior, or I guess it would be current loans that you have with SBA. So 7A, 504 loans, they're doing some forgiveness of those loans.
Oh, wow.
So that
could be huge.
that could be really big for small business. So you really need to check out these relief funds as well. There's like 5 different loans out there, so it's a lot, and it's a lot to go through, and some of it's complicated, and everything's changing and moving so quickly. And so please stay on top of the website and your resource providers, your chambers of commerce in your area to find out what is the updated information. And I'm curious, like, what is everybody else doing for winding down your week? I know this wine is delicious.
It's very good. It's
very good. And Tommy, you were even last week. I've had orange wine before at Bottle Riot, and my first time a few years ago, or maybe last year, and blown away. So if you haven't tried an orange wine, I didn't even know it exists. And you were a little bit reluctant about this, weren't you? You're like, orange wine, what is that? I'm like, no, it is delicious, and it is. So let's do another cheers. And then I know that we've been playing we're having like Wine Wednesday with some friends, doing some Zoom meetings. I just got introduced to House Hangs last night with some friends out of Louisville, Kentucky.
And that's an app, right?
It's an app, and that's been fun. You can play little Pictionary games, and that's something new for me. So I know we've been doing a lot outside. The weather has been fabulous, and so very thankful for that. And just really thankful to be able to work from home right now. I have a great team and staff and community of people. And then also to be here to help small businesses. So,
well, that's a good point that folks may have missed earlier, but tell them a little bit about where you work and the work that you do, the organization.
So I work with an organization that's funded by the Small Business Administration, so the Small Business Technology Development Center.
Oh, awesome.
And so we do no fee business coaching services to businesses. So there's probably an SBDC in your area, so I encourage you to reach out to them for information. And then in North Carolina, we also have the Small Business Center Network out of the community colleges, and we have so many great resources in our community, so I encourage you all to reach out to them and to stay up to date on what's happening. But we look forward. We're going to start doing these on Friday. I think it's been really good for us to get this out, and it's a way for us to be creative in this time that we have at home, where we're missing our friends and our family and just human connection. And so we thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to have many more of these. I want to give a big shout out because with our wine, we are going to be having dinner that was delivered to us from our friends at City Lights Cafe in Sylvan, North Carolina. Thank you so much. I know that they are doing some pivoting with their business right now, and so I encourage you to go on their website, City Lights Cafe, check out. They have an online store, and we talked a little bit today about maybe starting to do some meals. So just keep in touch with them because they've got some awesome things that are happening too. We had a friend, Ben Colvin, drop by some Devil's Foot beverage today. And so I'm pretty sure that next week it's going to be Wine Down the Week with Moscow Mules because it's a ginger beer, and I'm a huge fan of the Moscow Mule.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That, and maybe we'll have a special guest virtually to inform or give us a little bit of information about what they are doing as a small business inside navigating the COVID-19 pandemic. So, cheers.
Yeah, see you next time.